What is going on, Exo community? Exo Stomp here, and today, people, we're going to be going over the EDL week number 3 power rankings. So, of course, joining me, as usual, is going to be RibombeeTeacher.
What's going on, guys? RibombeeTeacher in the house, and I've escaped from Exo's attic this week.
What?
Yeah.
How'd you
we're here.
escape?
I don't know. There was a hole and I fell through the ceiling. You might want to get that fixed in case a leak happens.
Oh, you're right. Anyways, so I would like to say that we are not going to be going over 16th through 11th because how the WBE does it is they do top 10s. So I'll show it on the screen right now, show you guys where everyone is, but we're going to be talking about the top 10 only. So let's go on to then number 10 here, which is Team Recordham. So they did drop by quite a decent margin. They lost to Porygon Z, basically, to the Missing No Bros. Believe they're...
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. Porygon got 4 kills this game. It basically ran over Recordham's team, and there wasn't much that they could do about it. There really wasn't. I mean, they don't have a ghost type, I'm pretty sure, which means they don't have a really good answer to Tri-Attack. So
Yeah, they got a little unfortunate with the freeze early on, but looking after it, I just saw so much tilt in the chat. I was like, really? You kind of know what you're playing against when you're up against Porygon Z Tri-Attack. It's a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, there was a lot of instances where it just looked like there was never any way back. I did notice one small minor thing. The Galarian Weezing didn't look to be Misty Terrain from what I remember. So the Amoonguss could have spored it, but they didn't until it was way too late. But aside from that, like even then, it wouldn't have got them back into the game because Dragapult is there. So it was a pretty rough matchup for them in general, and they just got Porygon Z'd to oblivion.
yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Yeah, so coming in at number 9, we do have the Kings. They have risen. They are now in the top 10, and they're doing surprisingly well now. I'm actually surprised that they're sort of pulling it out with this sort of weather team that they fixed a little bit, but they still have a bunch of weathers. I think they still have 4 weathers.
They have all 4 weather setters, but they actually only brought 1 against us because they obviously played Combat and me. They were a little bit fortunate. RNGesus was a little bit in their favor, given the fact that the Hippo survived 2 Blizzard misses. We did still have a win condition at the end. I'm not entirely sure how accurate it is. Rabbit said after the game that the Hydro on the Roserade that we unfortunately missed, which lost us the game anyway, they thought it wouldn't have killed. I don't actually know their spread. Rabbit, if you do watch, let me know what your spread was, dude, because I'm interested to know what the calc was compared to ours and whether it would have killed or not. Because obviously if it did kill, we killed the Hippo with another Hydro anyway. So obviously the game was winnable for us. RNG lost it. We did have a bit too much fun as well, to be fair. We did click Metronome for the fun of it. When we could have just clicked Moonblast, and that probably would have guaranteed us a win in the game if we hit our moves. But you know what? We're going to have a bit of fun sometimes. So yeah. Good game for them, though. They did actually play very well. They brought some rather interesting stuff. I did like the Water Absorb on the Politoed. That's not something I expected. They actually didn't bring Weather Ball on Roserade, which caught me completely off guard. We were basically playing around Weather Ball the entire time. They didn't have it.
It's definitely a good bluff. The Roserade, speaking of the Roserade, it did tons of work. I believe it got 4 kills that game, which is insane.
Yeah, it was a nightmare for a matchup in general. Obviously, we only had a couple of things to outspeed it, but Doggy doesn't necessarily beat it 1v1, and then Keldeo definitely doesn't beat it 1v1. So yeah, pretty unfortunate, but yeah, they definitely played very well. You know, we were joking about them, whether they were going to try hard or whether they're going to meme. Well, I think they're try harding right now, so watch out, everyone else.
Yeah, definitely watch out. They're playing really well, and they're here to win this time. Coming in at number 8, we have Happini's Slaves. So another team that was sort of under the radar, and now they're rising up. Same with the Kings. So their game was pretty cool. They actually got 3 kills on Pex. I think one was through Toxic, but 2 of the other ones were just, I think, Scald kills, which is pretty cool. Seeing Pex actually killing things is pretty fun to watch, not gonna lie.
Yeah, so remember when I said last week if they brought a legitimate Toxapex set, they probably would have won that game? I feel vindicated now because they actually brought a legitimate Toxapex set and they won the game. But like, nah, they actually played very well around Toxic Spikes as well. Basically Nico Father, who we'll talk about later, didn't remove them at all. And they played around their entry hazards extremely nicely. They actually had a pretty standard team. They didn't get the hugest amount of value out of Cursula. They ended up sacking it for nothing. But I kind of like the Sash Weavile. That was an interesting lead option. Usually we see Sash Weavile as like a cleaner at the end to get some counters in. Interesting to see Spikes on the Heracross. They actually bought some really good stuff. I'm assuming the Ratchy was probably scarfed into Ironhead. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they brought a lot of good stuff. I think this was a pretty simple team. They took advantage of Nico Father not playing this matchup very well. So yeah, I think they played very, very nicely with pretty much a standardized team instead of doing the rather bizarre Toxapex sets of the previous couple of weeks.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that this is completely standard. Like you did say, Spikes on Heracross was pretty cool. But more or less, yeah, it was pretty standard. But honestly, they didn't need to bring anything not standard because their team is solid. It's just if they try to do anything besides standard, it goes like a little bit wonky. But hey, they got a 3-0 this week, so that rose them.
Exactly, it's a nice one for them.
Yeah. Coming in at number 7 is Dumb and Dumber. Oh, all right. Well, where do I begin? So, basically, this was the match Trancel and I were pretty scared of because we did know what 6 they would bring in. We guessed it correctly when we got into the game. We were excited because we knew at 6. We prepped everything around Gothitelle, and then we just threw everything like away because we just we threw all of our answers to Goth out the window basically. And then once Goth came in on the Stunfisk, after we knocked off the terrain extender, the Gothitelle could just rest after the terrain was over and get rid of the Toxic, which means if we didn't knock that off, we would have killed the God. So I'm actually really mad that we tried to like play around terrain and then the terrain ended up screwing us in the end.
Yeah, I did have a bit of a chuckle to myself when I saw that play happen. I was just like, either they haven't realized how electric terrain works, which it wouldn't be the case for you and Trancel, or they've just blundered this game away, and I just facepalmed pretty hardcore. I felt kind of bad, but this is the second week in a row where Gothitelle's just been allowed to do whatever it wants. You know, we're gonna need to start seeing like shed shells on Pokemon that is likely to get trapped in or something like that to actually try and see it away. But it's just so difficult when certain teams don't inherently match up that well into Gothitelle. I did notice somebody in the EDL chat, and I think they're kind of right, is like, who voted for Gothitelle to be unbanned, right?
So
it's mostly Shadow Tag that I think is the issue, to be honest.
Gothitelle,
the rest of it will be fine otherwise.
I honestly don't think Gothitelle is overpowered. I don't think people see it is a tier 1. I don't think it should be banned. There's so many things that you could do to play around it, and this game wasn't because of Gothitelle. It was because Trancel and I made so many bad misplays. Like, we had Shed Shell on Stunfisk to counter it. Then we switched it into a knockoff, so that screwed us over. And then we basically made so many misplays that we just threw away the game ourselves. I don't think it was Gothitelle. I think it was just us making big misplays.
I mean, that doesn't help your cause, for sure. But, like, this is often one of the things, I mean, we can talk about this all day, but, like, one of the justifications for certain mons getting banned is the fact they force things to happen. It's why people want Dracovish banned all the time, because it forces water absorb and stuff like that. It's kind of a similar argument. I think, obviously, yes, even if you guys played correctly, would you necessarily have won this game? Not sure, right? We'll never know, right? Because it's one of those that we just can't tell. But generally speaking, yeah, like if you don't play correctly around Gothitelle, it can win games by itself, and that's the biggest problem we see with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard to play around. It's really hard to play around both the electric terrain as well as Gothitelle, and then just Conk to begin with was super hard for our team to take down, and that's why that was like priority number one. Like we didn't know. We went into Stunfisk because we sort of wanted it to get static because we didn't know if it was guts or not because it didn't have the burn orb, flame orb. That's what it was. So we were like, oh, maybe we can get it static and it won't have guts. And I was listening to Trent, so I was like, you know what? That sounds good to me. And then it did, and we got screwed over again.
Yeah, it was a clever bluff on their end. Obviously, Conk has 3 very good abilities, so it's very difficult to work out which one is which. Obviously, Flame Orb kind of gives it away. But yeah, I don't know whether they intentionally prep for that or not. But yeah, it's definitely an awkward one. They gave you a lot of questions, and you didn't really answer them as well as you could have done. So they're gonna shoot up the rankings with more Gothitelle wins.
Oh yeah, probably. Coming in at number 6, we have the Primal Licupydon. So their game was pretty interesting. They ended up getting 3 of their kills on the Ferrothorn, which is actually pretty cool. We did also see, I believe Ludicolo put in some work as well this game. They played with weather actually very well. I don't think there was many plays that they sort of misplayed. So, yeah.
No, I didn't see anything inherently wrong, like immediately when I was looking through. Maybe I missed something. But yeah, it was a very, very standard Rain team style of game. Although they did bring, I think, Swords Dance Ludicolo, if I remember right.
Yes.
Which was definitely strange. But I kind of like the physical set. We don't see physical Ludi very often because we obviously associate it much more on the special side because of its move pool. But that was clever. I like the little adaptation because obviously everyone expects it just Hydra Pump in Rain, Giga Drain, stuff like that, Ice Beam, and things like that. So bringing a bit of variety was nice. I like the Jolteon. Jolteon is one of my favorite fast electric types for Rain, especially with Thunder. It's disgusting. But yeah, they brought a lot of interesting stuff that you don't typically see in Rain teams, but they made it work. And, this is kind of the toss a coin whether you get, right? You either play it correctly and you win, or you play it badly and you just don't get any value and lose. Luckily, this was the former in these guys' case.
Yeah, and we did see, though, that Storm Fiorentara, did I get it right? Maybe?
You were close the first time.
Alright, well, they did bring Seismitoad instead of Jellicent, mistakenly, but I did make them. I think Seismitoad had Scald and Protect, so I was like, just put those 2 onto Jellicent, and then, like, I guess 2 other moves that you would have brought. Like, at least bring the 2 moves that both of them shared, to make it fair. I don't know. I don't know why they had Seismitoad. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why it was on their team.
Yeah, especially against Double Grass. Makes no sense. But yeah, I feel like that was more not the best. Although Storm Fiorentara did bring some fun stuff. I like the sub Focus Punch Raichu. That's a set that I know Denny loves. He loves that set. I love it as well, to be fair. It's a set I've used a few times. They got somewhat okay value out of Duraludon. Duraludon's generally a decent mod in general, although they managed to spell satellite wrong. So whoever made the names on that, honestly, whatever. But they're still bringing this more utility-style Mew by the looks of it. I only see Sub and Soft Wild on it with Psychic Seed, so I don't actually know. It's probably Mono Expanding Force, maybe. But yeah, definitely kind of an unusual team that they brought, and it didn't match up well enough into the Licupydon set. I think the Licupydon's just outplayed generally across the board.
Yeah, they played well. That's really it. Coming in at number 5, we do have Nico Father, falling down from the top 4. So, I think the you know, why don't you start with this one actually?
I mean, the straight up honest truth is they lost to entry hazards. At no point did they clear away the toxic spikes, which was poisoning all of their mons. 12% each turn is a lot of damage to take. There was spikes still up. I don't even think they brought any removal. I think their entire reliance on removal was Ditto, impostering, like Talonflame for defog. I don't even know if the Talonflame had defog. With no removal whatsoever on the team, I don't see how they ever had any value in this game, because they were just losing before they could even do anything. They brought the Kingler, of course, which aptly named Exo Hate, but unfortunately the hate's justified this week. It didn't do the best despite double dancing. So, yeah, I felt like their team prep was not good enough. Not bringing removal is a bit of a surprise. I mean, I know it's Apini slaves and they tend to do rather creative stuff, especially Panda brings a lot of interesting Toxapex sets, but if he just brought standard, which he more or less did this time around, then this was going to happen. So I feel like they kind of either underestimated Harpini slaves or they just had a major oversight and it cost them massively.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just sort of said everything. Yeah, the Kingler, I do like that they brought it, like, after I said that kind of stuff, but yeah, it got a kill. It got a kill. I'll give him that. It did get one. But then it died right after, so... yeah. I feel like Double Dance Kingler doesn't do much. If it was, like, just Choice Banded and you're clicking, like, Crab Hammer, boom. You knock something out, it does, like, 40% or whatever. It does a lot of damage to something. I want to see Choice Band. I think Choice Band would be really powerful on Kingler.
Pretty sure it gets Liquidation nowadays as well.
True. I'd probably go with Power myself. But, yeah, you could do Liquidation as well. Liquidation with Sheer Force. That works, right?
Yeah, that's why I was thinking of.
Okay. So that's probably more... Okay. Yeah, so Liquidation then. Liquidation Choice Band. I want to see that. See, I've used that before, and it does do work. But I don't think Double Dance works as well, because you need to waste 2 turns, or maybe just 1 turn if you're just doing Agility. And then you have to hit something and kill it. Which, Kingler doesn't kill things unless you're Swords Dancing, usually. So, yeah. Hopefully, we could see some more sets from Kingler. I would like to see it, but the Ninjask, I still don't think is going to come. I think, again, switching it out for a better hazard remover would be probably ideal. Coming in at, the top 4 spots, we have number 4 is the Launching Dragapult. So they came actually very far up. I think they were either 7 or 8 or 9. I don't remember how far, but they definitely flew up. So that was great for them. These are, I believe, okay, so Rafi and BTHG. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Rafi really talk too much as of late, but I do see BTHG talking a lot. Rafi was, if you don't know, in Season 1 of the EDL, and after that he just stopped playing, but he came back in, and yeah, so far they've been both playing really well. This game itself, the Scyther got put in some work. I did like seeing that, getting a few kills. And Tyranitar also got a few kills. I guess one was Sandstorm, but yeah.
I still think my favorite pick of all of their team was actually the Salazzle. I actually really loved the Subtoxic Salazzle variants that we're seeing a lot more recently. That's actually been relatively strong on ladder. It actually caused a lot of problems for the Helios in general. Like, a lot of mons getting toxic and not being able to deal with it, like the Arcanine and the Gudra, typically like the more bulkier mons, really actually had a hard time dealing with it. And that actually paved the way for mons like the Primarina to get a bit of damage in. The T-Tar actually did very nice, and the Cypher came in cleaned up at the end. They did kind of lose a couple of mons to the Passimian, but that's kind of semi-expected. Passimian does come in and kill things if it's scarfed and stuff like that. So definitely interesting. BTHD actually said in the chat that the Tyranitar was assault vested, so they obviously had calcs in mind for the Togekiss Aura Spheres. So that was smart on their end to make sure that they were prepped pretty nicely. But yeah, this was a very, very good win for them. I think this is pretty much what we semi-expect from a Sand team-ish style of play, especially working with Primarina, of course. But yeah, this was a very, very well-played game for them in general. I think they punished the Helios extremely well. The Helios, again, playing very passive, not getting a lot of value out of their mons, whereas BTHD and Co are getting a lot of value out of the mons consistently. So they're playing very, very well. They're kind of pretty scary at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, if they keep playing the way that they have been, I think they're gonna be staying up here in the tops. I will say, I think Girder Girder was a decent pick, but we haven't seen it yet. I would like to see it. I don't know if they are planning on bringing it soon, but I personally really enjoy the low tier fighting types, so I really hope to see Girder come to a game.
Also, it has defog now as well, so it's an option. I don't think it's their ideal defog option at all, but in terms of how they've been playing right now, I don't think they've really needed the Girder in general. I'm actually just going to look if we have seen the Girder or not. I don't recall seeing it.
It hasn't come yet.
No, it hasn't. Neither has the Sableye. So
yeah,
that's an interesting one as well. But I think they brought that in like for last week. So yeah, I don't know. I think they've got a very, very solid core of a team. So in a way, I think the diversity is only gonna come in like specific matchups. So if they have a specific matchup for Girder in mind, I wouldn't be surprised. But Girder doesn't entirely fit their team necessarily. They don't have the best Trick Room mode.
Yeah,
In comparison to other teams where Girder really excels.
Yeah, there aren't many good fighting types in 80 if I remember correctly. I know a few are in 100, like I think Machamp and Salk and stuff. Maybe Salk is higher. Might be still 100 though. But
Salk is actually an 80.
It is an 80, and it's not taken.
It's Scrafty. Also available.
Scrafty. Yeah.
Poliwrath is also an 80.
Yeah, so there's a few good fighting types in 80 then.
Phalanx is
Nope,
down there.
that doesn't count as a Pokemon.
Someone's lost to it too many times.
Nah, dude, I've used it and it does nothing.
I've actually had a lot of fun with it, actually. I like Phalanx. But that's because I'm biased. I've come from a military family, so
I see.
I know what it's based on.
Well, yeah.
Dude.
Okay. Anyways, coming in at number 3, we have Spooky Burger. So, Rising, once again, they were number 4 last time. So, rising slowly, but surely. I believe
Fortunately, we don't really have anything to talk about, though, because this was the forfeited match.
Right.
So,
this was the forfeited match. Do we think they could have maybe 6-0'd or 5-0'd or even 4-0'd? You know, probably. But sadly, yeah, they were not able to play this one. The Bodacious Barachis were not able to be on this week. They were pretty busy, it seems. So, yeah, Spooky Burger just got a forfeit win here.
Yeah, unfortunately, these kind of things happen, especially in partner leagues where there's 4 players all have to schedule at the same time. It can be a bit of a nightmare, especially if both people on the same team are busy, you know, and especially with time zones and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that can factor into this. So it's understandable. It sucks from our perspective because we haven't got a game to talk about, but in terms of actual reality, this is relatively normal, to be honest. It sucks. I think it sucks mostly for Spooky Burger. I feel like they probably could have got a bit more than 3-0 out of the game, especially with how awkward the Barachis have been playing, and especially as how decent the Spooky Burger guys have been playing. So, yeah, it sucks, but onwards and upwards to the next game.
Yeah. Yeah, so coming in at number 2, we had the Rowdy Rillaboos. So this game was actually pretty cool to watch. I believe the Rotom Heat put in the most work. I don't remember how many kills it got, but it definitely got a bunch of kills.
Yeah, I like the Rotom Heat and I like the Dragalge as well. Those were the 2 picks that really stood out to me in general. I think for the entire game, I don't think their opponents actually had a great answer in general. It was the Sandy Snails, right? Yeah. Rotom actually got 3 kills, Dragalge got 2, and then Rillaboom picked up picked up the old extra one. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting one. The Toxic Spikes really putting in quite a lot of work, knocking off the Melmetal's AV as well, made the Rotom kill it easier. There's a lot of different things that went on that made the game very much in their favor. I think they played very nicely. I like the Galizapod and the Sharpedo Bring. We did question whether both of them really fit on this team. They kind of gave us a somewhat decent demonstration of how the fact they both can work. So that was nice for that. But yeah, I think they outplayed the Sandy Snails pretty convincingly in general. Obviously, it's somewhat less flattering that it's a 2-0, but they generally just played to their win condition, which is how you should play in a draft league match.
Yeah. They were number 3 last power rankings, and they moved up just a little bit with that 2-0. But yeah, I think they did play around the Melmetal pretty well. It was a V, if I remember correctly.
It was a V, yeah. It got knocked off.
Yeah. So the Melmetal got 4 kills, which is insane. But hey, they were able to beat a Melmetal team. So you know what? Props to them.
Yeah, exactly. I like the way these guys play, actually. I think they play very smart. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play some of the higher teams.
Yeah, they're actually like really unique. They are very new to the league. Actually, this is their first time in the EDL, so it's really awesome to see a new team or a team that we haven't seen before play really well.
I don't even know any of the individual players, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think I recognize them in any of the leagues I've played in. So they've come in with a bit of a baptism of fire for them. They've just come in and be like, where's all the competition at? I kind of like it.
Yeah. All right, so coming in at number 1, they have not moved from the spot. It's going to be the Missing Numbros. So they are still lossless. They have a 10 differential, and yeah, they were able to beat Team Record Ham pretty convincingly with that Porygon, like we talked about before. Team Record Ham does not have a Ghost type. Tri-Attack was just sort of free. So yeah, and Porygon now is number 1 on the leaderboard for just kill leaderboard. So yeah.
Hashtag ban it for next season so no one has to play against it. No, I'm joking. Right, but no, in all fairness, like they played this game exactly how they should. Much like when we talked about the Rillabeams playing to their win conditions. They took advantage of Tyler tilting off the face of the earth, which is something that Exo and I are both familiar with. But yeah, they played this game pretty much how they've played all season, which is just consistent and play around their main strengths, which, largely speaking, right now is their Porygon. Your wish was also granted. The Hattrem did come.
Woo!
Don't think it did all that much, if I remember right.
But you know what came?
But hey, your wish was granted. So you can't be like, yeah, where's the Hattrem at now?
All right, where's the Hitmontop?
Yeah, all right. Where's the Hitmontop? Right. So Exo is going to complain about every single team that doesn't bring a Pokemon.
Yes.
So if you guys want Exo to not moan in every single video, all you got to do is bring all your Mons.
Yes.
There's a Hitmonlee and a Dusknoir are on Rowdy Rillabooms as well, which we didn't talk about. But yeah.
Oh, right.
Dear.
Actually,
I like how this videos have gone into.
Yeah. Look, I don't like when Pokemon are on teams and they sit there for the whole time. Like, it's just like, why do you have it? You know,
See, I'm surprised you didn't complain. Well, you didn't have an opportunity to complain that we didn't bring Copperajah yet because we're outside the top 10. But
wait, why didn't you bring Copperajah?
Okay, I shouldn't have said that.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, going back to Radiolums, to be honest, like, Hitmonlee in Grassy, I mean, you just get that Unburden boost. I am surprised that they didn't bring that, but they're probably going to bring it soon. Like, that's Pokemon where I know they're going to bring it at least once. Dusknoir, you know, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Hitmonlee is like a matchup-specific mon, though. It's like, if the opponent has way too many answers to it, like anything that's like Fairy type that can live a Poison Jab, or like any Intimidate mons, like Hitmonlee is not the greatest. So it's understandable they haven't brought it yet, but it will come, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that is going to be the power rankings for week number 3, guys. yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And also, if you guys did not see the last video that I made, the EDL game night, definitely check that out. It's like, it explains what game night is if you don't know what it is already, or you haven't seen the announcements or anything. Definitely check it out. I give away like games and stuff, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But anyways, guys, good luck in week number 4. Do you have anything to say, Ribombee?
Oh, well, you stole my line, but either way, I don't necessarily mind. Thanks everyone so much for watching, of course. And of course, if you're not making videos for the league and you're recording your matches, please do. I don't want to be the only one, along with Axo. But no, either way, so guys, good luck for your week 4, of course. Thanks everyone. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands, especially before you play your Pokemon battles. And take care. I'll catch you next time.
Yep. Peace, guys.